Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings. Good day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to yourself, to your wisdom, to your wonder, and to your world. I invite you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that's safe and you're able to do so. Oh, and settle in, move your body a little bit so you can find the most settled, grounded, solid place. Whenever I'm trying to access wisdom and clarity, it's so important to get grounded and to rely on your foundation. No one can be like a leaf tossed in the wind, a boat tossed on the ocean. We all need roots. We all need a foundation. Whatever religion, spirituality, faith, whatever it is you choose, you must have some beliefs and some rocks, roots, and foundation that you rest your stability on. As long as you're in the human form, being a physical creature of a human means that we have to have our body and our emotions and our mind grounded in things. Some people ground in science and facts. Some people ground in yoga. Some people ground in nature. Some people ground in Buddhism, Islam, Christianity. And if you're here today, you don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to know what your foundation is. You're just being in your body right now, feeling the strength of your legs, of your calves, of your feet, of your sitting muscles, of your back, of your shoulders, of your arms, of your neck, of your head. Rooting in and feeling the gratitude, feeling the appreciation. Again, feeling the wonder and the wisdom that you are. Never before in history have you lived through a time like this. Never before has your unique human expression come forth like you do. All of your quirks and foibles and idiosyncrasies, even the annoying ones, are all such a wonderful part of you. All of your highs and lows, every heartbeat. It's your imprint on the world. Every heartbeat emits a sound. You emit a pulse into the world, whether you ever leave your house, whether you ever talk to a soul, whether anybody knows the secret, scared parts of you that you don't want to share with anyone. Those parts of you are lovable. You are lovable. You are okay to be who you are. It is okay to be who you are. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to feel sadness, anger, all those other emotions about the past. Let yourself feel those. But like with most things, if you need to, set a timer, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. And when that timer's up, take a big drink of water, get up, go for a walk, do something, clean, smash some things, and let that feeling go. If you find it still there, then tell it, I'm coming back to you tomorrow. I'll sit with you tomorrow again. You can sit with that feeling as long as it takes. Because we live our lives day by day, but you do have an eternity to get where you want to go. It can feel sometimes like you don't have enough time, and you don't have enough energy, and you don't have enough resources. Sometimes it's very easy to think that your time is running out. but your time will never run out. You have an eternity of existence in which you can bring forth what you are calling to do, whether that's to make chocolate, to figure out how to have a career lounging on the beach and selling sandals and flip-flops, or whether it's to go skydiving off the tallest mountain in the world. If you want to be a millionaire or millionairess, if you want to be a mega blockbuster superstar, you have all the time you need. So embrace that. Embrace yourself, embrace your dreams. There are a few questions that were submitted that we will answer today. Because it's really easy with your mind to get into nuances, semantics, and details, you are encouraged to listen with an open heart. The things that push you, the things that make you ponder, the things that feel uncomfortable and bring up discomfort and anger and annoyance, and that can't be true, and there's no way that's right. Any of those are a sign that there's something within you that wants to toy around with and chew on this idea and energy that you're presented with. And at the end of a day, at the end of a month, at the end of 3 years, you might say, no, that had nothing for me. There was nothing there that was good or true. However, whatever it brought up that brings up something in you creates a recipe in your experience that furthers where you are expanding. Just like when you are growing grapes or other vining organisms, you train them to a trellis, you use ties and you prune away this and that. The things that may be pruning away or pushing you from one thing to another, it doesn't mean they're wrong. This process is life pruning you. This process is life training you to be the grapevine that can bring forth the sweetest expression of fruit that is the most true and essential to your nature. The ideas that are the most jarring to you, if it's from something today, or if it's from something that you think, I don't understand, but I believe this could be important, then that is a place where you can delve in, you can return to this again, you can re-engage with this idea, with this topic. And that will bring forth and help you emerge and help you expand and grow, because it is calling forth and presenting to you a new guardrail on the road of life, a new path, which maybe you take and maybe you don't. But that decision then ripple effects and cascading events stem from that one moment. As you access these ideas, as you hear them, as you absorb them, let your process in responding and reacting to it be whatever it may be. If you ricochet off of it and reject it immediately and you never come back to it again, then that is what you did. And you knew that this was not ever something for you. But if there's something in you that feels a nudging, an urging, a curious pondering of, there's something about this that I have to work out and I don't know quite how to work it out, that is an invitation to be open, to be receptive, to keep the asking, to keep the pondering, to keep the exploration open, because you are stretching into a new place where you will see and feel and hear new things. And this is part of your exploration process. And with that, we will begin with the first question. Broadly, how do you make connections when you have a specific goal in your mind? And the unique situation for this beautiful, lovely individual is she wants to get from point A to point B with something she's building. She has the tools and she has a knowing of point A and point Z, but she doesn't have someone else to guide her there. She wants someone to mentor her, wondering how to find a mentor in a virtual space. The first thing you can do, take out a piece of paper. Think of a paper doll. And if you never played with paper dolls, you can think of a stick figure, but you're going to want to draw this stick figure on a piece of paper so that you can actually put something in the body of the person. So if paper doll doesn't spark something in your mind, let's imagine gingerbread people. Create a form of who this mentor is, and within that form, sit down and put in the words or images or even names of your dream mentors. Create a clear picture in your mind. This is the type of person that I want to help me create this website and curriculum, in this person's case, that I want to create. So you have your person, you have this form, and in many ways, even though we're meeting virtually, it doesn't actually matter if you can connect to this person or not. So you've drawn this drawing, you fill within the things that you want. Let's say you want someone who's fluent in 2 languages. You want someone who is a really skilled communicator in addition to being bilingual. You also want someone who can take a waterfall of information and learn how to channel it into a direct hose that shoots out just the right amount of information. And maybe there are 3 other things that you want. So you put all of those within this person, and you sometimes helps if you make the body of the person bigger. That person is out there and they have answers. The unique and funny and interesting and amazing thing is, where you are right now, you feel like you don't have the answers and they do. However, in the unified field of consciousness, you have as much access to those answers as they do. When you clearly create this person who is this mentor, you can go searching online for a person who meets your criteria. You may have an idea where to find them. Let's say you go to a website that has a lot of industry leaders. Let's say you go to a Forbes or an education software company website and read some articles, read some blogs. You may find someone on there who feels like they would be a good mentor. Maybe this person is available to you, maybe they're not. If they have a public profile, you can then begin following them. Whether or not they agree to connect to you and mentor you personally, you are able to receive what they are putting out into the world and to use it for your project, for this creation that you're making. And the biggest mindset shift that I want you to absorb, that because you have not found this person yet, there's a small part of you that's saying, what if I don't find this person? What if I can't find this person? Because of everything else, because of the circumstances of my life, it is challenging to find someone to help me for what I need. And essentially the person within is saying, I'm not sure I'm going to get my needs met, and I'm very concerned about this. I'm worried, I'm scared, and I don't know what to do next. And everything feels like, what if I go to get my needs met from this one mentor and they turn me down? And then I go to 3 more mentors and they turn me down. And then I go to someone else, and because I'm just emailing people, the emails go to spam. They don't get my emails. They ignore my messages. Blah, 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 blah. Many, many things could come up. But at the root of this, what I want you to start focusing on, in addition to the tactical, here's how you find this person, which this can help you. At the root of this, I want you to come back to the idea, my needs are valid. My needs can be met. And if affirmations are a little bit challenging, it's really great to pose these as a question and ask yourself this multiple times a day and let your whole being absorb it. So, what if my needs are met? What if my needs are met, no matter what they are? What if my dreams are supported by the most incredible people? What would it look like if my dreams were supported by the most incredible people? Where would I go if I wanted to find incredible people who want to support these amazing dreams that I have? Work and play around with those questions. Ooh, I'm already feeling the goodness coming. Ooh, the tingles. As you ask yourself these questions, you might get some ideas. You might think, oh, I need to go to that bakery in town and buy some bread. And you might think, what does that even have to do with this? It doesn't matter. I met my husband by talking to a random person on a random day. I was open to meeting people. I knew without a doubt in my mind that any person that I met who was friendly enough to talk to me had friends, and those friends have friends, and who knows who is friends with who. So being open and receptive to who you meet and where you may meet them, and trust again and again and again. My needs are being met. My needs are being met. What if my needs are being met? What if my creative projects are being supported? What if I'm getting all the support I need from my dreams? What if I find the mentor? How will I go about finding the mentor? Where will I find the mentor? Play around. I'm giving you options because I want you to hone in on 1 or even 2, no more than that, that really feel exciting to you, that when you hear this question, you feel expansive, you feel incredible, you feel amazing, and you think, yeah, what if my needs were met? And I know I'm going on a little bit long, but this is the last bit. There's part 3 parts to your answer. Here's one tactical way. Imagine the person. Tactical 2 way, which is more energy, and maybe the most important, is continually prime yourself to acknowledge that you are able to receive this and your needs are being met. And then the other part to this is that in order for your needs to be met in this area, it is very important that in other areas of your life where your needs are not met, that you have compassion, you have awareness, you have love, and you acknowledge in all of the other places where your needs are met, see that, have gratitude for it, embrace it, love it, nourish it, grow it. And in the areas where they don't meet your needs, gently and kindly apply this question again. What if all my needs were being met? What if my desires were being met? What if my dreams and my lusts and my urges and my crazy whims were being met? We all need a crazy whim every now and again, you know? I'm wishing you the best. Anyone who can take away from this what you will, I encourage you to take the bulk of what this juiciness will give and add to your life. I'm going to the next question. The question is how to interact with white people that don't really understand racism. This begins with an acknowledgement. This is more from Rachel, the daily human, than Rachel, the higher self, that any answer may trigger something. As we said before, you take what works for you, you see where there's resistance, you have an openness, and you work with that. You may entirely disagree, or this may spark something within you. Either way, the best is offered up for you in this moment. And as always, your greatest wisdom, I bow and acknowledge that you know what you want to do. So people of color listening to this, and the person who asked this question, you know what you want to do in this moment. And there may be instances where you may not feel safe to make the choices that you want to make. And I acknowledge and understand your best wisdom to move forward in whatever means that you have possible. There are some white people, and I laugh because it's absurd, but it's true, and we all know it's true, that they do not understand racism, and even more so, it's a denial for them. And so to take out a little further back view, let's just simplify this into the most simplistic thing. So these people do not want to understand, or are not willing to take the effort, time, etc., to understand that all human beings have value, and that there are systems on planet Earth which do not treat and value every human being equally and honoring the divine essence within them. And there are very real structures that are created that confine, restrict, exploit, continue hatred, etc., etc. The feelings, just imprisonment, it's a sad thing to be in an invisible prison that those around you who aren't in the prison don't see and don't want to see and can't acknowledge and can't, and when they even fight against you. And so it's a difficult to tell you in a blanket way how you can interact with an ignorant person. And at the end of the day, it is an ignorance. If this person does not want to acknowledge the inherent dignity, value, and divinity of every other amazing, incredible human being, there is an unconscious or conscious choice that they're making. Maybe it's a tribal choice that they're making so that they can be with their group of people. Maybe it's a selfish choice. Maybe it's a scarcity choice, a fear-based choice. My life has been hard, don't you see me type of choice. There are many dynamics, and some of them created by the same structures that create the invisible prison of racism. Some of those perpetuate that. Yes, definitely, we know. So how do you deal with this person? Again, I'm deferring to your wisdom. Some people in your situation want to divorce their lives from engaging with these ignorant people. And that is a choice, and you can make that choice. You are not wrong if you make that choice, if that is the choice that is being called to you. My sense because we're engaging, and the energy that I'm feeling of this, even though I don't know all of who will listen, my sense is that's not your first choice. However, you can make that choice. You can make it for a period of time, or you can make it for the rest of your life. More of what I feel that is a realistic, because you have to engage with these people because of your work, grocery shopping, the things of the world. More what you wonder is, how do I treat them? How do I go about them? How do I not shout in their faces and punch them in their stomachs? Not that you're thinking violent things, but there's a lot of energy that builds up. There's a lot of anger and frustration, and why will you not see? And there is nothing wrong with you feeling these emotions. There's a part of you that needs to find a way to work with people who don't see you, even though you know you need to be seen. It's a contrast that is a dance. And one of the things that you can explore is, as you work with children, as you would talk to or engage with a child, that child doesn't understand what you understand. And they are potentially incapable of understanding it. Let's just, and again, some people might be insulted by this, but it's actually an incredible analogy, because a child grows and most of them develop intellectually, physically, in all of those ways. So it's not the same over all of time. With this person, in this point in time, they are like a child with their understanding of this. So things will be explained to them simply, or you will treat them simply like a child who does not understand these things. And they will not be there for you in a way of fellowship, in a way of great connection and communication. They are not going to stimulate your mind and have a meeting of the minds. You owe this child nothing. You owe them nothing. And you have the permission to acknowledge that within yourself and to stand strong in that. You can be kind. I know you want to be kind. And there is a kindness that you can have towards the child, but it doesn't mean that you engage with the child where they can't go. And at some point, this child may mature. Then you may engage with them if you choose. But until they do, that's not your situation. That's not your buddy. That's not your friend. And as long as you want the child to be what it is not, you add another layer of frustration and disconnection into the relationship. And you might be saying to yourself, but I love some of these children. You can love them, but are you being nourished in enough ways from those who are not children in this way? Are you being nourished and seen? Because I'm feeling the energy flow intensely with this coming in. Because one of the biggest values, that's not the word I'm trying to bring forth. One of the biggest themes and beliefs, breakthroughs in consciousness. Okay, yeah, breakthroughs in consciousness. One of the biggest breakthroughs in consciousness that racism is evoking in our structure is this call to see me, to see you. As I said before, there's this invisible prison. It's not invisible to everyone, but it is to those who don't know how to see. Once you know how to see it, you see it. Until your consciousness knows how to see it, you cannot see the thing. And some people, like children, stay locked in it. Their brains are not to a point of advancing for this type of consciousness. So to belabor with them is, to try and be annoyed at a child who doesn't know how to drive a car. They aren't capable at this point in time. It does not mean that they won't be capable. And I know there are some people who are getting all wiggly and thinking, but we have to do something with those people. Yes, but that's not what your question is. The root of this question that I am answering is not how do we convince people who don't see racism that it exists, because that is a separate issue. And there are people who that is their life's passion and life's work to do. We respect them and love them, because that journey has a lot of ups and downs, and those people are really in a battle of advancing consciousness. You are not engaging in that specific battle. You are engaging in the question of, how do I deal with these people? How do I treat them? And what I want you to say is, the longer you try to act like they aren't what they are, and the more you cater to them, the less you're helping them. Their consciousness perhaps could grow and advance more by you leaning back, you taking more space for yourself, you continue to be seen, to shine your light, to have those nourishing people around you who see you, who see your struggles, who see your journey, who see your incredible, amazing thing. Because the power of sight is one of the levels of consciousness that this is bringing forth. And it doesn't mean it's not a struggle. It's an ongoing process. You will still be as amazingly divine, spiritual, religious, or whatever. It's still an integrity for you to have a boundary with those people, to not let them into your life beyond the ways in which social norms and work norms and whatever will dictate. And I will say, even in as much of those norms might not all be correct. So lean into and support your own jewel. Be around those who treat you more, who see you more, who value you more, who love you more. Sending you all of the love, honoring all that you have done for humanity in your lifetime thus far, and all you will do. You are a sacred traveler on this journey, and I bow in your presence. The next question is a two-parter, and I'll see if I can circle them in and make it a nice bundle together, because they were presented together. It sounds like two different questions, and in some ways they differ in magnitude. The question is whether or not to stay in a relationship, and this person is referring to romantic, but you may use this for a friendship or other familial, coworker, whatever, work relationship, how you wish. And then the part two is whether to have a child or not. Rachel, the human part of me wants to say, the thing about having a child is all that responsibility. So if you like responsibility, you go get it. And lots of fun, of course, and more growth and more struggles and tears. It definitely adds to your experience to have a child. And that is an idea that right now you're playing around with. And also wondering whether to stay in a romantic relationship or not. Again, a theme for today is honoring your own wisdom, your own integrity, your own alignment. So if you have not in the past done practices to connect to your intuition, to your higher self, to the embodied wisdom of your being, then these questions coming up are an invitation for you to develop that. And the questions seem very black and white, defining moment questions. And definitely having a child is a defining moment. Leaving a relationship may be a defining moment. There is a reason why many people, before fully leaving a relationship, will try on or test out leaving. They'll do a separation period. They'll go away for a weekend. Sometimes the people do not physically leave, although physically leaving can help make the decision more clear for some people, but others simply play with the idea. They think to themselves, this week or this month, I'm going to imagine this is what it's like if I'm leaving this person, or now I'm deciding to leave this person. Then they spend the next week or the next month noticing how they feel as they go throughout the day and reflecting. This is a great time to have a journal, because Monday, you might think, yeah, I need to leave that person. And Tuesday, you might think, well, they weren't too bad today. And Wednesday, you might think, this person is actually really great. And then on Thursday, maybe it's half and half. And by Friday, maybe you go out and you have a great time. So every relationship is not the same essence, the same quality every day. And there are moments when the intensity of your feelings seem to add more gravitas to a moment, seem to make you think, well, this makes it seem like I should leave them, because who could do that? Or why would they do that? But then 3 days later, you might think, oh, but they were so cozy and so loving. And this is why I'm with this person, because nobody gets me like they do. You can have all of those experiences with the same person. A lot of us have that experience with ourselves. Some days we're like, you're amazing. And other days we're like, who are you? The thing is, having a journal or a way that you are getting it out of your head and your heart and pouring it onto the page is really going to let you, it's going to have multiple effects. It's going to process the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts. It's going to get them out on the page, and it's going to give you a space to see them. One of the most important things when you're making a decision like this is having space for reflection, time for reflection, because it's very clear you don't want to just react to a situation. You want to be the actor, be the proactive person. You want to be coming from, this is what's best for me now in this moment. This is what I need. But because there are so many parts of you, different days you have different needs. But when you're putting it on paper over the course of a week or 3 weeks or 6 weeks, you can see, oh, on average, this is what the entries are showing me. On average, this is how this dynamic of this relationship is. On average, this is what comes up for me. It may also be time, in addition to having that reflective space where you're working with the journal, to bring in an outside person, a counselor, a friend you can confide in, someone like an intuitive or a coach who can talk these things with you. Having the place to speak the words out, to hear them with your own words, to see how another person responds, to hear what they reflect back to you, to hear what they question you about. This adds a little bit more richness to your situation. It adds more information because you may be missing things about yourself that are playing out in this relationship that you won't find from a journal. You might, but if you're not doing anything else and there are patterns that are causing you to want to leave this person, not because that person has a thing, but because you have a pattern that whenever they trigger that in you, the programming in you says, time to go, time to get out, don't want to advance beyond this, so I got to go, I can't live with this. You're probably not going to figure that out on your own unless you're doing other growth work or working with an outside expert, coach, counselor, intuitive, whatever person who's helping you see with some objectivity the situation. It's not recommended that you ask 20 people and poll them their opinion, because this isn't a group decision. It's simply not. Yes, all those people could give you so many ideas, but your life is not driven by a board of directors or a team of friends. Your life is driven by you. And any good person you're working with as a one-to-one guide or guidance or mentor is working with your agenda, not their agenda. They're helping you to bring forth the best of you so you can have the life that is yours. And the last bit that I'll leave, and again, this relates to the child and the relationship, is one of the most beautiful things that you can do is give it time. So I said there's this idea of space and the reflection and the time to look at it with some space, but time is also essential. And minor caveat, if this is an abusive relationship or something like that, then time is not what you need to decide if this abuser is going to stop abusing. The fact of the matter is, if they're abusing, then you know what you need to do to your best of your ability. You need to be in a place where you are not abused. Aside from that small caveat, time can make it more clear. Whenever any big decision has to be made, if you give it more time, life events will create the clear information for you what choice is the most aligned for you. Let's say you decide you're going to give it a month and you're going to decide this, or maybe you say you're going to give it a year. I mean, it's been a little bit of a strange year, so maybe you want to give it more time because you've been in this relationship for some time and you think, I want to give this some time. I don't want to rush anything. You give it a month or you give it a year and you say, I'm giving it this, and then I'm going to reevaluate. 1 year from now, there will be so much more clarity. If you're in the situation still, you will have learned to work through the thing that was bothering you. Either you and that partner will have learned to work through it, or you will have more skills within yourself to deal with it. It will be a non-issue. It will be resolved. Or you will realize, gosh, I'm still in the same place I was a year ago. Do I really want to do another year of this? So sometimes we want to fast forward a decision. And there are ways you can fast forward time to get somewhere faster. It's not exactly that you're making linear time move, but you're making your soul's advancement happen at a quicker pace. You, as I said before, you could work with somebody who brings forth new things, who helps accelerate this awareness of what your best decision is. You can have conversations with this person. And you can do this reflection work. You can do other work on yourself. You can read some books or take some courses or work on a new way of communicating or a new skill set. You can take that time of separation, whatever you're feeling called to do. If the action is not, I have decided now to leave this relationship, or I have decided now to stay in this relationship. If you can't take an action on that right now because you're not sure what decision you truly want or which one is the right decision, then take other action that makes your life richer, more aligned, more wondrous, more joyful, more of the life you want. And that will shift things. That will make it so that if you're staying in this relationship because you're afraid of finding someone new, you might not feel that fear anymore because you feel so solid and secure and loved, just being your amazing, awesome self. Or maybe all of these things you do, your partner thinks, wow. And then something changes in that dynamic. When you change, the relationship to some degree will change, or your awareness of it will change. Similarly, to wrap it up and bring it back to the issue of the child, people will try and make you think that there's a time limit on having a child. And for women, there's this idea of a biological clock. However, you can look out into the world and find 50, 60, and 70-year-old men who are raising children. That's not, is anyone worried about them raising children at their age? Time is not a consideration for them. You might need to clarify your question for yourself. If it's a child, and it doesn't matter if it's your biological child or not, time is out of the equation. If it matters if it's a biological child and you are concerned about time because of fertility and biology and all of that, it's time to meet with a fertility doctor or a pregnancy specialist. That is not what they're called. Oh, I love it. It's time to meet with someone and get some answers. Do you need to have some eggs taken out and frozen? You know, empower yourself so that whether or not anything interesting or unique or whatever happens with the relationship, you have prepared so that if a biological child is important to you, then you're getting your eggs in the situation they need to be in. If you don't really have a preference of a biological child, if you think, well, I just want to raise a child, you've got all the time in the world. You'll find and connect with the child. So take time out of the equation as a constraint and give yourself the time to sit with the question. Similar as the last, the more time you give the question to breathe, to experience, the more you will see the truth of it. Start to notice, do you see people who have chosen not to have a child and think, well, that life looks pretty good. Yeah, I want that. Or do you see people who are having children and think, oh, that's what I want? Take the time, get out that journal, get a person who's guiding you and reflecting with you. Find a way in which you are engaging with this and really getting to what are your feelings about it? Where do you want to go with this? And trust that whatever you choose is amazing. It's great. It's your best expression of this beautiful, divine, sweet, unique human that you are. I'm adjusting my paper because I feel this one I'm going to need to write about or doodle. So there is a question of, am I being too introverted? I'm getting the shivers. Or is this really what is good for me right now? Is my intuition anxiety, or is it truly a need to recharge? Is my introversion anxiety, or is it truly a need to recharge? Well, you asked me, but I kind of want to ask you, what do you think? Sometimes we live within a box. We live within the boundaries of our own creation. And we start to wonder who put us in this box. Sometimes the box is cozy, and sometimes we like that box. If you don't like boxes, maybe we'll call it a circle or a container. And then sometimes that box starts to feel too small. Then you start to wonder, can I get out of this box? I kind of miss people. Where do I go to find people? What if I do have anxiety? Are you scared of anxiety? Are you scared of what might happen if you say, I'm anxious and I don't know if I can fix it on my own? I'm not comfortable meeting new people anymore. I'm scared to get out there. And what if they don't like who I am now? What if all this time being locked in my home, locked, but we were in lockdown. What if all this time was just enough time for me to forget how to be around other people? What if I like spending time alone? What if I like not responding to the demands and social pressures of others? What if all the things that I want to do alone? What if I'm not normal anymore? What if I'm becoming a hermit? What if I spend so much time alone, people forget I exist? What if, I don't know, you are such a special human being. And depending on what you thought of yourself before the last year plus of having this space from other humans that quarantine and lockdown facilitated, whether you thought you were extroverted or introverted going into the pandemic, very likely impacted your interpretation of the events. So many introverts going into this said, hallelujah, I don't have to go and be around other people anymore. Give me some more of this. And extroverts were just aching and feeling like parts of their skin were flaking off and they had oozing sores all over them that only parties and conversations and connections would heal. And so over this time, depending on how you thought of yourself going into this, different parts of your experience came out and were evoked or supported. For this point in time, I'm only going to speak to introversion and introverts because that's what you asked. But if you're an extrovert listening, feel free to flip it around to what works for you. The introvert who went into this loving it, who enjoyed all this alone time, is now not really sure how to re-enter the world. Essentially, what we're working with that most people haven't even talked about is, you can think of it as if we went through a tunnel together and we came out on a magical new land. Maybe there was a layer or a veil that was lifted. You're in this new land that practically looks like where you were before, except it's different. And many people are walking around trying to be the person they were in the last place. And even though many things are the same, many things are different. Meanwhile, you know that this is different. And the actual best way to answer your question is both of those things are happening in your experience right now. You are having anxiety and you do need to recharge. You are acutely and deeply aware of how the world has changed, even though so many things still look the same. You are having to learn how to walk in this new world, and your legs are really wobbly. And because you're not a child who has that endless enthusiasm for standing up 25 times in a day and falling over and doing that for 3 months until they learn how to walk, or 2 months or 2 weeks, depending on the child, you stepping out into the world on your wobbly legs, it feels acutely more impactful, more daring. It evokes more and it takes more out of you because you haven't yet used your new legs in this new world. And so you do need more time to recharge. You need more time to recharge. And in this recharging, you're having your space, you're having your reflection, you're having your grounded foundation. What you're also having, what I really encourage you to do is whatever it is that your spiritual practice or religious practice, whatever it is that supports your self-love, that brightens the light within you, that fuels your creative fire, that brings out the most essence of you into this life, in your recharging time, some of it, yes, pure rest, pure nourishment, get those greens in you, get those micronutrients, get the veggies, get the cozy beds, get the fresh air and the swimming outside, whatever the ways that you physically recharge. And spiritually, you need to recharge your soul so that when you go out and you are interacting with people and you're walking on the new legs in the new land, the anxiety comes up, but you know that it's a new leg, new land anxiety. It's not going to last forever. But as you are learning how to walk, you need to find what are the structures and support that you need so that you can move forward with these legs, because it's such a gift. You, in your human experience, know that you have moved into this new land. As I said, not everyone knows this, but your human existence doesn't know all the ways to move through it. It's a gift and it's an anxiety because it's new and you have to do it. And it's not like everywhere you go, other people are saying, yeah, this is new. This is new. I feel it too. So returning to the well within, or the fire, whichever one you like. Right now I'm coming up to the well, but I love the fire inside as well. Returning to that solidity that nourishes and nurtures so that you can walk with your legs will over time diminish the anxiety. The anxiety will diminish as you acclimate to, here is how I am in the new world. This is how you walk in the new world. This is the level that you engage with people. These are your new boundaries that you have. These are your new practices that you have. Some of them you brought from before, some of them are new. Some of them might work now, and in a month they won't work. And in many ways, what has happened is they didn't work They worked until recently, and now they don't work anymore. And I have a drawing here that relates to this. There's a part of it that the essence of you is in this perfume bottle or this genie bottle. And you're asking, how much of that do I let out into the world? And then there's all these layers within, but then there's the exuberance coming out. And then there's the whole container that is you. And this is just a time to play. Yes, it's awkward learning how to walk again. I've never had to learn how to walk again this lifetime, but there are, ask any person going through physical therapy. I mean, especially as adults, even if we're not going through physical therapy, doing new things for most people is not what they rush into. There's so much about the beginner's mind and the failing and the growth mindset and doing it and trying it 18 times and it not working out. I encourage you to take the time and the energy in the form of reflection and nurturing and recharging to become who you are becoming, to discover. Because the question, as I said, both answers are true, and the question isn't going to be fully known until you spend more time working out these new legs. Then you will know, oh, I can only do 2 social things a week, and that's my max. Oh, I can only do 1 social thing a week, but it has to be this type of thing. Oh, I can do 4 things and walk in all of these places, but if I'm going to have conversations, I have to have these type. Over time, you're going to have more awareness of the person that you are now and your level of engagement. This is just a reminder that no matter what the rest of the world does, your continued appreciation, love, and honoring of your unique way of being, and the way that your divinity wants to show up in your human expression at this point in time, your commitment to that, your honoring of that, your loving of that, you're committing to self-love, you're leaning into that, is the best thing that you can do. Doing this beautiful evolution, this process of doing this again and again, is where all of the fears and concerns and anxieties and fritter debris of the world just falls away over time. But it doesn't happen in an instant, and it doesn't happen in a day. And again, I will leave with this deep bow to you, acknowledging that what this experience that you're going through, it's an honor really to have reached this point of depth with your own soul, this comfort within your own skin, this awareness that you have changed, the world has changed, and now you are stepping into it and finding the ways that you are in this world in the best way as this new you in this new world. That is incredible. A daily bow of reverence to yourself, daily love to yourself, daily reminder to yourself, of putting a hand on your heart or whatever it is that you do to be in spiritual practice and reverence of the unique and incredible and beautiful way that you are and that you are living, is something that will add so much energy and essence and brightness to your life. Right now, I'm thinking about a field, a lush field with all of these mushrooms popping up. You may or may not know, but mushrooms, they're the fruiting body of the mycelium. So what you see when you see a mushroom, you can compare it to the fruit of a tree, an apple. You see the mushroom and it's like an apple, which also means that you see this apple you can hold in your hand, there was a whole tree that created that apple. The mushroom that you can hold in your hand, there was a tree worth of mycelium that created that. I mean, this isn't a whole direct one-to-one correlation, but you get where I'm going. For you, maybe your actions, your movement in the world is the mushroom, and all of the other things are the mycelium. That's one part of this. The other part of this is your soul, the container that is the beautiful, amazing human that is you, is the mushroom, and the rest of the universe is the mycelium. You are the apple, the rest of the universe is the apple tree. So I invite you to keep on mushrooming, to let what pop up. If one morning you wake up and like mushrooms popping up in the night, you realize this is too much. I need to be doing less things. I need to be doing more of this and less of that. I need to be meditating more. I need to be talking to so-and-so because they fill my heart more. I need to bring on this mentor. I need to engage in this program. I need to stop that commitment, whatever it is that pops up. Let that be what you pursue. Let yourself honor where's your next step in this experience. And let yourself bloom, let yourself have the light, let yourself be the joyous, incredible, amazing being that you are. All the love to you. So much gratitude and appreciation for the amazing human being that you are. And with this, we close. If this is your first time connecting with me, one of my online locations is soulpioneer.com. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it in a podcast, please subscribe. It makes a difference to me, and you can also stay connected and receive further encouragement. I am so appreciative of you. If you have future questions, or if this sparks other questions, submit them to me, and for the next question session, you can have your question answered. You may also choose to work with me one-on-one, and there is a link in wherever the description for this media is. So on YouTube, it's in the box below. On a podcast, it'll be linked there, so that you can book a discovery call where we talk for 20 to 30 minutes. You see if you want to engage further, and what you have received today is a taste of what it's like to work with me for a full hour. So many positive client reviews and testimonials on my Facebook page and my Google page that you can read and get a feel for what other people have found working with me. I wish you the most wonderful day, and let's stay connected. See ya.